high chair or booster seat? What is best for your family and for your child? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm team booster seat. I'm going to go through some pros and the cons, and obviously I'm going to weigh in favor of the booster seat. It's going to be obvious. It's going to be clear. So first I do want to just specify what exactly I mean. So you have your traditional high chair. We all know what a high chair is like. They're not at the table with you. It's a separate piece of furniture, has its own tray, buckles, all the works. Then you have booster seats. Now, when I say booster seat, basically I mean a miniature high chair. Our booster seat, it has straps. It has restraints. The baby is safe and the booster is safe and secure to the kitchen chair. This is not a booster seat that is for a 4-year-old. It's not like a block that sits under them and just boosts them up. A 9-month-old could sit in this and they are safe. And then finally, there's a couple other versions of high chairs. There's the convertible, which can be a freestanding high chair or a booster seat. I don't like these. They have extra parts and pieces. So I would not recommend going the convertible high chair route. If it says 4-in-1, 5-in-1, I've even seen 7-in-1, I wouldn't get it. And then finally, there's this trip trap type high chair. These are the fancy wooden ones. Typically, your kid can climb up in them themselves. They can turn into like a booster seat later on. They're fancy. They're expensive. And typically on this channel, I try to promote affordable and minimalistic parenting. I don't have this high chair. I can't strongly recommend it, and it's a very large investment. And now let's jump into my main focus here, which is high chair versus booster seat. Okay, so first of all, just the space in your kitchen. Do you have a tight kitchen or a large kitchen? If your kitchen is large, you might have room for a freestanding high chair. If it is tight, the booster seat sitting in a chair to me is more space saving because essentially that kitchen chair was already there. You're just adding something on top of it. You're not taking up more space in the room as far as the footprint and the layout. Now, another factor is, do you want baby at the table with you? Maybe you have 2 children and this baby is number 3, meaning you're going from a family of 4 to a family of 5. What if you only have a 4-seater table? Maybe you want baby in a high chair. I know with my husband and I, we were a couple and we'd have other friends over that were a couple, but we had our child in a booster seat at the table. So we always were 1 chair short. Now, if they were in bed, we could take the booster seat out, no problem. And we had 4 seats again for the 4 adults. But basically what I'm saying is by using the booster seat style, you are taking up a chair and you're losing 1 seat. One reason we did want our baby at the table with us was to learn basic manners. And like when you eat at the table with us, you're eating like us. You're not different or set apart from us at your high chair. Like we don't throw our cups on the floor, our plates, our forks. We keep them on the table. We eat with good manners. And we felt like incorporating them at the table with us would help with that and just include them in the family meal. Don't separate them in a high chair. So that was our personal opinion there. Now, one reason you may not want them at the table with you is your table really fancy, expensive, and general dining sets are. So by putting your baby in a booster seat at the table, they could do damage to the table. They could do damage to the chair that they're in. I mean, kids can bang things and drop things and, before you even know it, you might be at the sink for 1 second and they scratched into the table with a fork. It happens. There are ways to mitigate this using a tablecloth or a placemat and just working with your child in general and teaching them how to behave at the table. Using a booster seat does risk damaging your table. A high chair keeps them separate from your table and therefore will not damage your table for the long term. Okay, let's talk a little bit about traveling and storage. You might have needed to store this item in between children. And then when you are done having children, you might store it for, say, nieces and nephews, or if your friends are still having young children, you might want to have that extra booster seat or high chair at your house. A booster seat is smaller to store than a full-on high chair. I'm not keeping a high chair once my kids are done with it. It is too large. Now, I will say with booster seats, there are travel-specific ones, and then there are other ones that are not necessarily for traveling. The one we have in our kitchen, for example, does not fold up at all. It doesn't get any smaller than what it is. We have used it on the go before, but it's not one that we would typically travel around with. So that's a whole other category. You could specifically buy a travel booster seat. We did not. I kind of wish we did. And then I do want to say with the booster seat we have, if we do take it on the go, it does have a tray with it. The tray is stored underneath. You could use this tray at home if you wanted to, again, protect your table, back the child away from the table a little bit, but not go full on high chair. It's up to you how, when, and where you use this. In general, on the day-to-day, we do not use the tray. Our child eats off the table, but we have the tray as that option, again, for travel purposes, or if they are having a rough day and need to maybe not be eating at the table. And of course, with any baby gear buying decision, price. Typically, your high chairs are going to be more expensive than a booster seat. A booster seat's more cost effective. So again, that's why we went that route. In fact, the one we have in our kitchen, I actually can't link here, which is such a bummer. I cannot find it on Amazon or online. We bought it secondhand. We got it secondhand for maybe $20 or something, and we have absolutely loved it. It has served us so well. This booster seat has an insert. It's this blue insert, goes in it and makes the seat essentially smaller for like more like a 9-month-old. Once they're more like a toddler or 2-year-old or so on, you take that blue seat out and then the chair's bigger so it can fit a larger child. Like I said, the tray's removable. You got your buckles. It's strapped to the chair. It's very smooth as far as cleaning it out. There's no real corners. I personally could not recommend it enough. This was an item we felt comfortable buying secondhand. Like I said, that Trip Trap, that's your most expensive high chair, that type or that brand specifically. If you are looking for the high chair route and you are trying to be on a budget, there is an IKEA high chair that is very budget friendly. So I will say that is one exception on a very affordable high chair. Otherwise, I'm a big fan of the booster seat. So like I said, I'm a fan of the booster seat. I like them at the table with us. I like the minimal space it takes up. I like that we can store it for future children or guests in our home very easily and very minimally. For us, for our family, for our children, the booster seat has been a win. And if I had to do it all over again, I literally would get the exact same booster seat we've been using. I have loved it. I hope this helps you decide between a high chair and a booster seat for your family and your children. Good luck, and as always, check out some of my other videos that will give you some tips, tricks, and maybe some guidance in your baby buying selections. Have a great day, and I hope to see you back here for the next one.